our Wednesday stream. Hope everyone's having a great Wednesday so far. Got a bunch of stuff we got to address, including a bunch of questions and obviously some recent happenings in the industry. So yeah, this first question is pretty lengthy and it's not 100% factual. Like some things that they're stating as fact here are not true, but I'll address everything after I read the question out. So this question is for Aaron. Firstly, I want to commend you and the entire team for the work on this project and the strength of the community and PEG relative to other projects. I know you and a friend own a very large percentage of the supply. I estimate around 20%, which is stored basically out of circulation as to not dump the price of BOM or to be put into the LPs or sold. If you desired, you could continue to distribute just enough of your BOM into the LPs to ensure that we never go above PEG, which honestly is something I would consider in your position because more BOM supply printed would mean less and less chance of you being able to cash out of your BOM successfully as there becomes way too much BOM to be supported by BTC and the LP. So I'm going to address all this afterwards, but I'll just keep reading the question. You could also dump the large amount of BOM at any time, which could effectively rug a massive amount of BTC from the pool and leave a lot of users hurt. I always look at the price and think, why is it always a few percent below? Is Aaron suppressing the price? How long will it be till we print, since Aaron has tens of thousands of BOMs to sell? I want to ask if you and your friend could make regular disclosures of your buys and sells after the fact to avoid front running, and perhaps also give an idea of how much BOM you have that you still need to distribute into the LP or sell. In addition to this, it'd be great if you could provide us with planned usage, like the amount you aim to sell or distribute per month, so we are never blindsided by a huge sell, and this would create a sense of security and certainty regarding the movement of this elephant in the room. So, long question. So firstly, I want to say that, I mean, I think it's fairly obvious at this point that, my intentions with my trades are always to do what's best for the protocol and not what's best for me financially. I've demonstrated that numerous times. Actually, I was looking through some of my trade history this morning, and I just saw like, some of the bomb buys that I did, back when we, lost peg pretty severely after our big pump up at first. And there was just transaction after transaction where I was buying well over $100,000 worth of bomb in each one. Um, this is a big reason why I have as much bomb as I have is because I broke my massive farm position to buy bomb with my Bitcoin. Um, and obviously the end result of that is that I have a lot of bomb. Um, Nothing I can do about that really. I mean, to support the protocol, I had to buy bomb, so I'm sitting on bomb now. And if I was doing some of the things that you mentioned here, I wouldn't be sitting on so much bomb because I would be just, well, let's address a couple of these things one at a time. So I'm not sure how accurate this is, and I'm not sure which friends he's referring to. I know I do have one friend that has got a pretty big position, but he's really careful about what he does, as I am. And you know, um, he's also broken his LPs to pump the price of bomb when it's been below peg. And I'm not talking about small trades either. I'm talking about, doing five plus of, half a BTC each or a third of a BTC each. So talking some pretty significant trades. So he's definitely, looking out for the protocol as much as I am. Um, so I'm not sure how accurate that 20% number is, but it might not be too far off. Um, but again, I think the important thing to know there is that the reason that that number is so high is because of the actions that I've taken in the past to support the protocol. And yeah, of course, well, actually, I'll get to later questions where it's about what I plan to do with the bomb. But let's go to the next paragraph here. If you desired, you could continue to distribute just enough of your bomb into the LPs to ensure that we never go above peg. Well, I mean, I think it should be stated that, by far my biggest holding is B shares, despite the fact I have so many bombs. Um, Me trying to keep us below peg just doesn't make any sense no matter how you look at it. Um, I really don't. I mean, the only sells that I do are to enter the LP with bomb, which counts as a sell. But I'm really careful about when I do those, and typically they're only happening like above peg or maybe after a really big buy that looks like a fishy buy, like a buy that seems like it might just be for a short-term trade. Like that's a time that I would probably enter LP with some of my bomb and the thing is when I enter an LP with my bomb, I'm 100% fully willing to break that LP to support the project, right? So, it's a little bit different when you see one of my accounts selling bomb to enter an LP. I mean, that's just really me, you know, putting more funds together that I can use to support the project in the future. I mean, so it's not quite the same as when somebody else is selling. Um, like I'm not sure why you would do that in my position. More bomb supply printed would mean less and less chance of you being able to cash out on your bomb. I mean, the plans that we have for this project, I mean, the amount of bomb that I have is really insignificant. Like, it's how much do I have maybe between all of my accounts and everything? Like maybe a couple of, maybe two or 300,000 maybe, and it's really not that much in the grand scheme of things, for the targets that we're looking to hit and TVLs and, BTC single staking. I'm going to be able to unload a lot of my bomb over the counter to BTC single stakers. Um, and it's something where I'm not in a rush to get out of bomb. So it's, when it's at a very safe place, like, when we're over peg and, things are moving in the right direction, yeah, I'll be, entering LPs and stuff like that. And, you know, never will be selling to harm the project in any way. I can promise that. Then he goes on, you could also dump the large amount of bomb at any time, which could effectively rug a massive amount of BTC. Well, I mean, if I was going to do that, then why would I have, spent almost $1 million pumping the price of bomb up, when I already had that $1 million, like essentially in BTC? Doesn't make any sense. I would obviously never do this. I always look at the price and think, okay, well, I mean, I think it just the rest of this question, I'm just going to pretty much say that, it's pretty obvious that I have the project's best, you know, what's best for the project is ultimately what drives all my decision making in terms of my bomb. And again, the only reason I have so much bomb is because I've supported the project in the past and, broke, $1 million farms to buy up bomb to support the price. So, um, yeah, I think it's perfectly fair to me to be selling, bomb to re-enter farms, but I'm just very selective about when I do that just to make sure I don't harm peg and keep sentiment as high as I can. Because I know, even though it's a long-term project, a lot of people are looking at the price every minute of the day. So, I try to keep things looking as good as possible for them without obsessing over it, just because there's more important things to focus on long term. Anybody have any questions about that before I move on to the next question? Let's see what's in chat. Also, when assumptions are fundamentally wrong, because the more liquidity, the less impact your trades, should you ever make them? All right. When purchasing items from the merge store, what happens to the bomb used to pay if they pay with bomb? Also, what are the benefits from the merge store funding? Is it is some of it going back into the contract somehow? Is being put into the treasury, etc.? So, yeah, I see your test message. Um, so this has not been finalized yet. We were kind of rushing just to get the different payment methods set up, and I know we have to tweak some of the prices. Sorry if the prices seem extremely high right now. It just the first order came in and I saw that we actually lost money on it, so I just increased the prices temporarily, and we'll fine tune everything just to make sure that we're covered in all situations. Because I know, like for example, somebody in Europe bought something and I had to pay VAT on it, but we didn't charge VAT to the customer. So it's like, and also I'm paying my local tax on every item that I buy, but we're not adding tax to the orders. So I kind of have to, at least for now, have the profit margin cover like, the expenses. Um, so yeah, we'll tweak that and we'll get pricing a bit better. Um, in terms of profits, I mean, right now, all I'm really doing is, for one, with Peg where it's at, I don't want to be selling bomb to cover the cost of merch, so I'm just kind of covering that myself. Um, so if people are paying with bomb, we'll decide what to do, or we'll do a community vote on maybe what to do with that. Um, that's one thing actually I want to start getting the governance running and start having some, you know, there's a couple different things that we could potentially be voting on in the near future in terms of just minor decisions about do we go this route or this route with different things. So we're going to be having our first votes coming up pretty soon. And that actually could be one of them. How will single staked BTC be converted to BOM? Gradually to balance its effect on PEG or all at once? Will the BOM be purchased on the open market or not necessarily? So this is something that's part of the reason why this has taken as long as it has. A small part of it, but it is figuring out exactly how to do this, perfectly so that nobody gets hurt and so that everybody's benefits. So this kind of ties actually in with the first super lengthy question. So um, when I first announced BTC single stake, I had mentioned that PEG was going to likely get, go sky high because we have all these BTC single stakers coming and they have to buy BOM. But then I realized afterwards that, having a very high spike in PEG and having a bunch of BTC single stakers get in at that high PEG, they're going to suffer impermanent loss as BOM comes back down, to where it's supposed to be because we would be printing constantly and, the system would be doing what it's designed to do and, getting us back towards that 1.0. So that's too much risk to BTC single stakers. So what I'm going to be doing is I'll purchase on open market with their BTC for their LPs until, if we're under peg, I'll, probably do it until we're at, approximately like 1.05 or so, somewhere in that range. And then from there, I'll just do, over the counter trades for the rest of the BTC single stakers, as long as peg is in that area. Um, like put simply, I don't want BTC single stakers to be the sole cause of a high peg. I don't mind if they help us. I mean, I'm very happy that they'll help us get to peg and above peg when we're below peg, or help us maintain peg if we're close to peg. But in terms of getting them into an LP, I can't get them into an LP at a high peg unless it's naturally at that high peg from other forces. If the market's booming and everybody wants to get into BOM and our peg is super high, and I have to get them in to an LP and I don't have any more BOM to allocate to them, then there's no choice but to get them in at a higher peg. And if the market's supporting that higher peg, then, the chances of impermanent loss are a little bit less because we might actually maintain that peg. And that would just have to be, a small aspect of risk. But the project would be doing so well at that point that the APR would make up for any impermanent loss there. Uh, would it be possible to implement an OTC offering for the more ethical whales out there? For example, we could buy their BOM they want to sell and pay them back in BNB BTCB, whatever our treasury could want to hold. It's not really too different from them just dumping and then the treasury just buying it back, right, on the open market. Um, that's really no difference there. If the treasury is just sitting on all this BNB and BTC that it can use to just, bring the peg right back up, then I think the OTC trades make sense the other way around, just to be able to get, BOM from the protocol wallet and, or from me, I'm a huge holder of BOM, obviously, just to be able to get rid of get rid of some of our BOM without affecting price negatively. Um, yeah, I don't see much need for this. It's like if the treasury has the money, it can just fix the price after. If it doesn't have the money, then it can't do anything. Ever thought about setting shop in Europe to sell the merch? Uh, we're just uh, we're just drop shipping everything. Like it was a really simple setup where, um, we just basically put our designs on some different templates and pretty much they just ship it wherever. So we're just trying to do that just to keep things simple for now. It's lets us have a lot of different products without having to keep inventory and stuff like that. And if the bomb team gets the single stake BTC right and it works well, what's to stop them from adding more single stake coins? Would it be easier and quicker to do now that you have done all the work for BTC? So I mean, the reason that BTC single stake works so well is because we actually have like a direct demand for BTC in the protocol. It fits in with what we're doing. We're the BTC pegged, tomb fork. Um, so BTC makes a ton of sense. Um, I don't really see what we would do with any of those other coins. So I mean, I won't say never, but I don't really see how that makes sense right now. So the teaser page on Bombshell Monday says 1.9% daily. I know that's probably not what we will see, but how is that rate calculated? So yeah, that was just a sample number that was shown there. Um, the rate and how it's calculated, that'll be released when we release single staking. What benefit does BTC single staking bring to the protocol? I know the high APR APY is going to be attractive and attract new users, and last I heard their BTC will be locked. How's it going to help Bomb by having BTC staked? Well, I mean it's a lot of buy pressure on Bomb. That's the main way. Like if we have, say 100 BTC come into the system through BTC single stake, um, forgetting about over-the-counter trades, I mean that's right away 50 BTC worth of Bomb that has to be bought for them to put that to work. Um, so I mean that's just massive demand on Bomb. Plus, with the other Bomb that we have that can be sold over the counter to the BTC single stakers, that's going to end up putting a lot of BTC in the wallets of wallets that want to protect the protocol. So, if just say in that last example I just gave, if they need 50 BTC worth of Bomb in order to farm properly or to farm efficiently with all their capital, then just say that 30 BTC gets sold over the counter to wallets that are either protocol owned or mine or whatever, and 20 BTC gets bought on the open market. Well, now we have 30 BTC of firing power to basically help if anything, any problems with PEG. Um, we have that 30 BTC so that if there's a huge withdrawal on the BTC single stake, I could help, or the protocol could help, or my wallet could help cover that just to not affect PEG negatively. Yeah, I think that pretty much sums that one up. I got a question in chat here. Let's see. Landing page and dashboard preview look nice and very polished. Aside from what you've already mentioned, can you give any other insight towards the obstacles for release? The main obstacle for the release was really me just waiting to get a copy of the front end that I could, put my logic into and, you know, basically just tie, a couple loose knots up and, just basically have it finished. So I actually just got a copy of the code this morning for the front end. There was talk about a loan type mechanism in the future. Will that be like an anchor protocol type deal with Bomb as the collateral? So I hate to say this, but I'm not overly familiar with Anchor. Um, I'm familiar with a lot of lending and borrowing protocols, and I've been playing around with them for quite a while now to figure out which I like. Although, to be honest, I think it might make more sense to partner with an established lending and borrowing protocol. If we can get XBOM listed on, there's a couple different options. Like we have stuff like Abracadabra Money, where potentially people could put XBOM and then mint MIM. That's one option. Other options are like what SushiSwap has. Actually, I can show you guys some of this stuff. So, well, we got a couple options. We can either go with another company and we can integrate with another protocol, and that brings a lot of advantages. But we could also do something like this ourselves. So, um, a couple of different options. Like I'm really familiar with SushiSwap. I've forked their code a bunch of times. Um, let me pop on ETH. So their lending and borrowing protocol, it basically you create each individual pair. Like anybody can do this. So it has its advantages and disadvantages. So when you create an isolated pair, anything that happens to this pair has no impact on any other pair, which is different from all the other lending and borrowing. Well, not all the other ones, but it's different from your compounds and yearns and stuff, where it's all one big pool, where you can just deposit any assets that you want, and then you can just withdraw any assets that you want, which gives you a lot of flexibility because you can just kind of deposit whatever you like and use that as collateral and withdraw whatever other assets that you like. But there's more risk, I guess, in that if there's an issue with one of the assets, dropping, well below the collateralized rate or whatever the technical term for that is, it could potentially, cause risks for, other assets, just because one could be like negative, I guess, or I'm not sure how to word that properly, but there is a little bit more risk involved, or you have to, put much more conservative like borrowing limits or like the collateral usage thresholds, stuff like that. Um, and then like Yearn's pretty cool. So something like I think it's here. Yeah, so something like this where you could just deposit whatever assets you want. A lot of them are like yield earning assets, just like XBOM is. Um, I don't really use this on ETH mainnet, but yeah, it just lets you deposit assets and borrow whatever else you want. So that's the other option. But I mean, we could implement either one on our own. Probably better to seek a partnership if we can. But yeah, I mean, to answer your question, it's, BOM would be able to be used as collateral or be borrowed. When BOM started, the Dev BOM print allocation was 5%, but that was increased to 10%, and DAO wallet allocation increased to 30% in mid-December, which decreased the boardroom allocation from 80 to 60%. So the reason for that was not to get me more BOM or to get the protocol wallet more BOM. The reason for that was just it was a quick and easy way to lower the amount of BOM that was being distributed to the user base on prints because I felt the prints were a little bit too large and we were having a really hard time staying above peg when we were printing, multiple times in a row. So that was the sole reason why that was changed. And I'm very happy to switch that back once we demonstrate that we can stay above peg. And actually, there's other options that we have for decreasing the size of the prints. If that's actually something that I wouldn't mind discussing with all our community members. Is if we should, if you, I mean, I mentioned earlier that I want to do some governance votes soon related to various different things. One of them was actually related to if we should lower the max expansion rates on printing epochs just so that we can have an easier time staying above peg. Um, with BTC single stake coming soon, I'm not sure how important that's going to be, but it's something that maybe I'll throw out the vote just so we can have a couple votes going, and even if it's not a popular one, it's perfectly fine for votes to fail. So I could do another vote about decreasing the dev and the protocol wallet allocation. But so of the 30% that the protocol wallet's getting, 20% or two-thirds of that's going to XBOM now. So what was 20% between protocol wallet and dev is still 20% between protocol wallet and dev. Not the exact same ratio as it was before, but just because that other 20% is going to XBOM. And the second part of that question was, seems like you've got quite a stack of BOM now. Any potential to returning allocation percentage back to the boardroom? I mean, like, I have no problem with like burning some of, like, I could look and see how much BOM I've received from that 10% allocation, but I mean, to be honest, we haven't printed a ton since that change was made. Um, and I'd be perfectly happy to burn that BOM or, you know, I've got enough BOM that I, farmed and bought when I was helping Peg, and I got boatloads of BOM with, even if I burned every ounce of BOM that I received from that. Is there a way for devs to introduce a locked staking for the BOM BTCB LP to incentivize people to hold on a little longer? This will help a lot with our peg given that our TVL is so small right now and we are very susceptible to dumps. For example, we can set a 30-day locked LP auto vol with an additional 1 to 2% interest. I mean, the thing is, like, anything that has extra interest, it's like, well, where does that interest come from, right? Um, I do like ideas of locking things up and getting extra incentives. Um, I think our community is really great, to be honest. Like, just everything that's transpired in the last couple of weeks with the different tomb forks and and just the markets and just how well our peg has been maintained. Um, it just shows everybody's dedication, and truly the majority of the paper hands have already left, and we've got just such a solid base, and we really got everything lined up to just really explode once some of these catalysts come to fruition very soon. I mean, I think the issue right now is that the market's quite diluted. Like, a lot of people on BSC are APR chasers, and they're probably taking massive hits on their holdings while they're getting that higher APR. Um, I think that we just need to. Actually, this kind of ties in with the next question. I skimmed through this earlier, but yeah, I think we kind of really need to like get across like our strong points. Like, just let new users know like that we are the first Tomb Fork, that we've already been through several stress tests. I mean, we got to word that properly, obviously, for to be appealing to users on our site. Um, but yeah, no, I think we just need to do a better job getting our message across. And I think that in the next couple of weeks, probably a lot of the other forks are going to die off or dwindle down to nothing. So I think at that point, some of the APR chasers might come back, but I don't know. Those aren't the type of people that really stick around. So um, yeah, I think we have a marketing team doing great work for us right now. We're we got a lot of things going on that's gonna put buy pressure on BOM so that I don't think that this is something that's going to be necessary or, something that, we could actually one thing that I was looking into is potentially like using like a bonding service. I was going to see how much that would make sense for us. Um, if you guys aren't familiar with that, it's basically it's so the protocol can own their own liquidity. So you offer like in this case we'd offer BOM. We'd say, you can get BOM at a discount if you give us BOM BTCB LPs. So we'd give them like BOM with the at 80% of the price. So they would do like 80% of the value of BOM. They would provide in BOM BTCB LPs, which the protocol would then take, and then we would give them BOM after a vesting period of like 3, 4, 5 days, something like that. So that seems to be something that a lot of projects are doing now, something we could look into. Um, just look at questions from chat. Off topic, but what was the job you left to go full into this project? Um, you know, I've been in telecom for the last like 10 or so years. So, um, I run my own telecom business, but I'm kind of not really putting any effort into that anymore. And I was working at another telecom company as well, just managing a project there, and that's the job that I left. Yeah, like that's just how like the bonding systems typically work. Like if you look up Olympus Pro, I think they're the ones like they have a bonding service. I'm not sure it exists on BSC yet though, but they definitely have it on Phantom, and I'm sure ETH mainnet and maybe Polygon. Um, of the options, if can get stable over peg, nice to have some of that extra BOM allocation in the treasury to come back to the boardroom, like a stable peg bonus. I'm not really following. I mean, our boardroom pays out insane if it's printing every epoch, so I don't think any extra bonus needs to be given. I mean, that's why the withdrawal timers are there, right? Just like the only reason that the allocation percentages were changed is because we were distributing too much BOM. We're not trying, like, I will never ever implement any sort of rebase system ever. As a super long-term vision, ever thought about developing play to earn games to buy NFTs with BOM? Hey, nothing's out of the question long term. Once we get this BTC single stake launched and have it running smoothly, I'm going to be like this. This was so different than your usual DeFi stuff, and that's why it's taken as long as it has. But we'll get back to pumping things out constantly once we're done with this BTC single stake. So um, we'll be actually one thing that I'm not sure if I mentioned this last stream, but like I was thinking about taking like a Google approach with BOM and just having all kinds of different things developed for it, and just to see what the community likes and what works best, and anything that the community doesn't like, we can just simply deprecate it and kind of phase it out. But like that could really open the doors to trying a lot of things that we wouldn't have necessarily tried, right? And that's what Google does. They have all kinds of teams working on all kinds of outlandish projects, knowing that the majority of them aren't going to get anywhere, but they find a couple of real winners doing that. Thank God for no rebate system. Look at Charge, it's just imploding. Yeah, I mean, like, listen, I tell people with Bomb BTCB, like, it's just a great place. Just park your money there, put in the auto vault, and come back in 6 months. It's like we're maintaining peg fairly well. Like, I know we're not at peg right now, but considering that we don't have a rebase mechanism, like, literally we get back to peg because people buy Bomb to counter all the people that would have sold Bomb. What about more reward the longer you stake in the boardroom? Again, the problem is not the rewards. The rewards are really great. The problem is maintaining peg when we're printing. So trying to get more BOM into people's hands, it is not the solution to how do we stay above peg. So we got no, I'm saying there is BOM surplus in the treasury. Why can't we use that to supplement the expansion epochs to reward boardroom believers? I mean, you said that will help drive value of B share. Like we don't if BOM is printing regularly, we don't need any help to drive the price of B share. And any additional BOM that's given out is just basically speeding up the process of us getting under peg. right? Like if we were gonna print for 20 epochs straight, but then all of a sudden we were given a 30% bonus bomb to everybody, we're probably gonna be printing, only for 20 or 25 epochs, right? I mean, again, that depends on what other use cases we have ready at the time and what people are doing with their rewards. But I mean, like I think kind of like to answer what you're saying here though is like that's kind of why we introduced XBomb, and XBomb's been performing extremely well, right? So people can stake their B shares, they can take their bomb rewards, put it into XBomb. XBomb's up like 9% in a week, little over a week, or that's crazy, crazy yield, right? So any plans for NFT utility? I mean, yeah, this is all stuff that we'll discuss once we get the NFTs going. Why are we so rely on BTC which I suggested on Discord a long time ago? New B shares coming out every second. So many newcomers. If B share keep going down, so does APR. Then you want to buy bomb. Now in the protocol, just same people moving around bomb B share. We really need new money coming in. Yeah, like some of the trades are people moving from bomb to B share, but there's new wallets buying all the time. I mean, there's a lot of dilution with all the other forks out there and people chasing APRs and, considering everything, we're in a great position, considering everything that we've been through and, what we've been able to overcome. The price of our B share right now, considering that we've only printed once in the last week and a half, like it's actually, it shows a lot of strength, right? And I don't really agree with a lot of what was said here. All right, let's see chat questions real quick. Hi, Aaron. What resources does the Treasury have, and how are those funds used? So Treasury is a confusing term. So are you referring to the Treasury smart contract or the protocol wallet? The protocol wallet's where like that protocol allocation of bomb goes when we print, and it's also where there's some B shares that go there as well for the protocol. So I don't have the numbers right in front of me of exactly what the protocol wallet has. I know it's probably got like 250 or 300 B shares. It's got, a couple of 100,000 bomb, maybe 150,000 or so. Um, and it doesn't have a whole lot of other assets because it's been used pretty heavily in the past to, help peg when it's dropped and things of that nature. So we haven't really spent enough time like high enough above peg for me to feel comfortable um, unloading some of the treasury or the protocol wallets assets into like stable coins or other cryptos just to be in a better position to help peg if we need the help. So the treasury is not super strong right now in terms of that, but um, there's other sources of funds that can be used to help peg if it comes to that. Any plans to list Bomb and B-Share onto free crypto tracking apps like Blockfolio and Delta? Um, I was not aware of those, and I don't see why not. We can definitely have somebody look into that if it's going to be beneficial. Any plans to get Bomb and B-Share added onto 1inch? It will make the trading experience much easier. Plus, I think both tokens qualify for a free listing. Okay, I mean, if that's true, then yeah, we should definitely get on there. Like, I know that the big one that you need to get on is like the Trust Wallet assets repo on GitHub because that one is the one that, you know, we would have our logo like in Trust Wallet and all kinds of places would get it automatically because a lot of people, like a lot of places use that as their like first place that they use to grab the token info. But they had some pretty stiff requirements last I looked, like 20,000 holders of your token, I think it was, or 10,000. But yeah, I mean, if 1inch is separate from all that stuff and it's really easy, or we qualify, then I don't see why not get ourselves listed there. Should get it listed everywhere that we can. We got a big team that can submit forms and stuff. So had a few people ask me about future XBomb rewards, same as the 50K one. Could we use Protocol Wallet to do more of these down the line? Yeah, 100%. Yeah, we could definitely do other promotions in the future. Because I mean, it's really quite simple how that XBomb contract works. Like any source of bomb can essentially just be sent to that XBomb contract and it increases the ratio. So there's really a lot of different ways that we can, use any kind of extra revenue from anywhere to buy BOM on the open market and, kind of send it right to the XBOM contract. So that way we're putting buying pressure on BOM. We're, getting more yields for the XBOM stakers or XBOM holders and BOM stakers. Is there anything you are working on that you don't want to share yet? Um, I wouldn't say anything's at like a serious stage that I haven't mentioned. I'm definitely always playing around with different things and always researching and finding new projects and thinking of different use cases for BOM and how we could integrate with different things. So I've always got things going on in my head. Some of them I've developed a little further than others. Some of them have already been documented, but nothing's really being actively worked on at this moment besides what everybody's already aware of. Please address Harry's announcement regarding his Warpath rant for Tomb Forks and explain how this will or won't affect BOM. Do we have any license issues regarding the MIT license and him revoking access to it? Have you been in touch with Harry? Okay, so first, we're on the blockchain. He can't take a smart contract down off the blockchain. Nobody can do that. Um, so th I don't know what he plans to do with that. Um, in terms of the open source code, I haven't looked into this in great depth recently, but I mean, as far as I know, like when you have open source code with an MIT license, like you can't one day magically decide that, hey, this is no longer something that people are able to use. Like it was released under that MIT license, and if you're using it within, you know, the constraints of that license, I don't see how that would be an issue at all. But again, I'm not a lawyer, so I'm not 100% sure on that, but I'm pretty sure. Um, so overall, I don't think BOM is in any danger. Um, in terms of what Harry mentioned about sending an email, if you're a true Tomb fork, I mean, I'm the I'm the kind of person, maybe because I'm maybe call me a little bit stubborn, but when somebody comes out and threatens to do all kinds of things that they actually don't have the power to do or they can't do, um, that's not the type of person that I like to, you know, follow their instructions to send an email to try to get some kind of certification or um, whatever you would get if you emailed him. But it's something where if I'm going to talk with the team, and if the team thinks it's going to be a smart move to to reach out to them, then I'll be okay with it. But um, yeah, overall, I'm not worried, and I think what might be the best approach, because I said this to the team earlier, that I highly doubt that they're going to put out like some kind of certification program. Like, let's just be real. Like, Harry doesn't like any fork. He can't really say bad things about forks that are doing good things for the community and have real use cases, but I still know he doesn't like any forks, whether they have good intentions or not. So I really don't see him coming out with any kind of like certification program or anything like that. So if they're not going to officially endorse us and say that, hey, we're a certified fork, then there's really no point to sending them an email with any information. And I think what we'll do is we'll just have like a Medium article where we just talk about everything that's transpired and what our thoughts are on the different aspects of it and things of that nature. You've likely gone over this before, but could you high level explain BTC single stake and where the returns for the BTC would actually come from? BTC single stake is going to go into BOM BTCB LPs. This is going to be very apparent to the stakers, and they will be aware of that. Um, how does it directly help affect BOM price? I've just mentioned this earlier. It's something where if they come in with 100 BTC and they need to get into the LP, well, they need to buy 50 BTC worth of BOM. Um, and I suggest just after this is done, just maybe you can go back. Like I gave a much more thorough answer earlier about exactly how that will all work. That was pretty early on in the video. There's a comment here. If they co-sign us, that would be huge. But like you said, I doubt they will. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, like I want to make a name for ourselves. I want to be better than Tomb. I got a lot of respect for Tomb. I like Tomb. Um, but at the end of the day, I want to be the best, right? So will an endorsement from Tomb impact us long term? Hopefully we get so big that it makes no difference, right? But but yeah, I mean, if that's actually something that they have going on, then yeah, sure, why not? We'll get certified. We got nothing to hide. So that's all the questions that I had, and got all the questions from Chad answered. Unless you guys got anything else for me? Okay, I just got, will you leave the live stream up as a VOD so I can rewatch? Just getting a free moment at work. Yep, 100%. These are auto recorded, so they will be available to watch. Thanks for the kind words. What will be done with the bomb shop profits? I mean, I'm not really looking to benefit off the shop. I really just want people to get bomb gear at at a price where we're not losing any money. That's about it. Um, I mean, again, this is something that we can do a community vote on. I mean, if the community thinks that it makes sense to take a bigger profit and do something with those profits, then I'm okay with that. Yeah, if you guys have any suggestions for the format of these, let me know because I mean, I'm not really experienced with doing these, so I mean, hope I'm doing an all right job. But if there's any way that I can improve these or any ideas on intros or fun stuff I could do during the live stream, feel free to pass them on to the team. Question: do we know how much the ratio jumps up when we print? Are we able to calculate that? Yeah. I mean, it's pretty straightforward. Okay, so right now we have 600,000 bombs staked, right? So um, basically 6,000 bomb entering the contract would be a 1% increase to the ratio, like it would jump up by 1%. Um, so basically we would just have to look at, what does the print look like when we're not in a debt phase and, how big are those prints and what's 20% of that and, multiply by 4 in a day. And, you know, it's, it's not that hard to figure out. I mean, there's a lot of variables because like our last print was in a debt phase and, and also it was like our our total supply prior to or our circulating supply, either one, it was a little bit under 2 million prior to the last print. So that was done in like a lower, or no, sorry, a higher, yeah, higher max expansion. Yep, agree with you on all points there, iChase. So the comment was one idea would be to open up a Discord voice server and allow people to ask questions live via voice. I also think hosting some Twitter space would be pretty awesome. Yep, I agree. Use the bomb song for the intro. Good idea. Hope everybody enjoys the rest of your Wednesday and let's keep those buys coming in. All right, take care, everybody.